we are here with Michael Harney at Harney Sons in Millerton, New York, and we have Harney Sons Teas at our office, you guys know that, and on our website. And we are very excited to be here because we really want to know what is so great about Harney Sons, and so Michael's going to help us answer that. So, Michael, what is special about your teas?
Well, the thing that's special about our teas is I learned from two people. You know, my dad always said make tea an everyday luxury. So that's one thing. And he had the experience of Stanley Mason, who had been in the tea business for 3 generations. He taught my father. There's a guy named Bernd Wolf, and Bernd had been in the tea business in Germany, he always, when I got into the business with my dad, I said, well, the American sources are good, but I should try to find world-class sources. And so that's what we did. And we used Bernd and his son Marcus to help us find those great teas that are out there. We have great palates. Myself, Elvira Cardenas, who is my assistant, my tea buddy, she does a great job. And then we blend, as you saw earlier, and then we pack. So we have a commitment to quality that started with my dad, starts with Bernd Wolf, and you know, we keep doing that. So it's great tasting tea, and that's what makes us different.
Now, who comes up with these different blends? How do you come up with all these different ones?
Well, after 33 years, there's a lot of people come up with a lot of different blends. I mean, now, I mean, my dad had his 6 that you said. You know, Earl Grey, we respect the tradition. You saw it up there. With their hot cinnamon, that's one of his, so those are ones that are there. You know, one that's very popular in Paris is, it was a tea that we were doing for the Pierre Hotel there on 5th Avenue in New York, and it was a custom blend they asked us to do. My wife drank it, she said, oh, this reminds me of a tea in Paris, thus the name. So Bangkok, we saw that. That was, I wanted to do a flavored green tea. Most of our teas are what we call a sweet. I said, let's do one that's more savory. So I said, let's do one that it reminds me a little bit of Thai food. Of course, Thai food can be very spicy and not always relaxing, but this one I chose to, you know, bring in lemongrass and coconut and ginger, and it's been very successful out there. Some of them we don't blend at all. Right, we were looking at the gunpowder, that tea, that summer tea that's there, and so that is one that is just put inside a big dryer, and then it gets a char flavor.
What are we doing here today?
Well, what we're doing here today is quality control. Over here we have some blended teas, but on this side this is all quality control. So you walk through the factory with me, and they were making these teas. So. We sort of want the customer to drink the tea that they're paying for.
Right.
So we go through and say, yep, that's the right one. That way it's all quality control.
And do you test this, or do you have
that's
other
me.
people?
Yep. Well, I mean, myself, you know, Elvira I mentioned.
Yeah.
Elvira does a lot of the blends for us too. So for black tea, boiling 5 minutes is a good rule of thumb. But there is flexibility because people have different tastes.
Different taste, right?
Right. Also, when you're drinking green tea or white tea, you have to use less heat and less time. So for a Chinese green tea, you would do 175 degrees, so less than boiling, and 3 minutes. If it's a Japanese green tea, it's even cooler and shorter. So I think we're ready to taste these teas. So here we have. This was the iced tea that I talked about upstairs in the green striped box, all the way in the back. Yep. And so we use this as a base tea. Actually, a lot of these teas here use that. Okay. So we can smell so much more than we can taste. So you can smell different types of roses. You can smell nice things, not so nice things. And that's great. But you can only taste 5 different things: sweet, salt, bitter, acid, and what the Japanese call umami or mouthfeel. So that's what your mouth can taste. So most things, if you, like when you were a kid, you would hold your nose when you're eating the broccoli because you could then eat it. The same thing. So you have to open your nose when you're doing this. So we always smell it. So this one you're not going to smell so much. I'll give you one that's easier for you. The other thing that, just like with wine tasting and smell, is you have to take a liquid and make it into a gas. So and that makes it into a gas, and then it comes into your olfactory senses, and you can smell it. So we have, it's a multifaceted store. We have our basic retail shop like anything else here, where you can get teas, and you can see we have some books over here, and different sort of nibbles, but tea is the focus. And then on the other side is where we taste tea, so if you come in and you say, oh, I like hot cinnamon, but I want to try something else, they would help work you through that, and we're going to go over there in a minute. And then on this side is where we have our food. You know, my dad wrote a book about cooking with tea, which is healthy, and so he started us down the road, and now my son Alex, he tries to incorporate tea when he can into the menu. So that's a little bit of what we have at our shop.
All right, guys, we're going to be tasting some teas in just a minute, so we'll be right back.
This is it. This is pure bud form.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Okay.
we also have some leaves.
Wow. Now, do all teas come from the same plant and then different parts?
Well, they come from the same general species, but there's a lot of variation. The tea that makes this wouldn't make that. So just like there's different roses and